Hey everyone, what's going on? Day one of CES 2020 is behind us and there's a ton of stuff to go through. I can't even tell you how much we're about to munch through. I started compiling a list of what was shown throughout the day and my god, it's like 2 or 3 pages long of bullet points. I've categorized everything into gadgets and devices like TVs, vehicles. So if you want to skip through these to a specific category, then check the description for links to those sections. Pro tip: all the more weird and wonderful stuff is towards the end of the video, so make sure you stick around to see things like a creepy Samsung ball which will live in your house and command all your devices. Definitely won't be leaking your data though, definitely. Full disclosure, there's going to be some devices that I won't have time to cover because my lists are already so monstrous. I'm also not at Las Vegas right now walking through the CES floor, so if I've missed anything or there's some stuff you think I should be covering, then chuck it in the comments below and I can check it out and possibly add it to future videos. I'll be covering CES 2020, so karate chop that like button and backhand that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the coverage. I've spent half a day putting this list together, but I haven't really dived into everything too much, so I'm keen to give this a proper look now. Let's do it. So if you're new here, I'm Nathan and this is Phoenix Tech. Let's kick this CES video off with TVs. Samsung has shown off this year's The Wall. Last year they had a 146-inch wall, and this year they're showing off a 292-inch 4K version and a 150-inch 8K version. They're all using Samsung's micro LED panels to create these monoliths. All reports are saying that when constructed, it's like 99% seamless between the panels. You can't see any gaps. Pricing wise, well, let's just say last year's wall was 146 inch and priced above $100,000 US. So I'm not even going to speculate on this one, especially after my last video. Samsung also showed off the Q950 8K, which is 99% screen to border, aka borderless. It's also got built-in speakers in the back for surround sound, and they've added in some AI technology which scans the video to create sound from a stereo source. To go with this and other top-end Samsung screens in the future is their new processor. They're really doubling down on 8K screens this year. So for the average consumer's internet bandwidth, 1080 streaming is fine, 4K is definitely doable, but 8K streaming would be monstrous in general bandwidth terms. So Samsung's strategy here is to use these new chips in their TVs to upscale 1080 video to 4K or 4K video to 8K. It's actually an interesting roadmap for them because, 4K is barely standard these days, so pushing 8K from a marketing point of view is really a niche within a niche if there's no way for people to consume that 8K content. So what's the point of even buying their TV? So if their upscaling is successful, then it could be an actual compelling reason to even dream of affording and owning an 8K TV anytime soon. The good people at Samsung are ahead of the social media consumption curve here with the Samsung Sero. It's a TV that can mechanically rotate to portrait mode so you can comfortably watch everyone's blasphemously filmed portrait videos. Using the mirroring function, you can also mirror your phone to the TV, which kind of looks like a giant phone when you're looking at it. To me, this is kind of as dumb as it is brilliant. I don't see regular people wanting or needing this, but can definitely see it in like offices, retail displays, a bunch of rich kids setting up Lite PC hacking streaming setups. It looked pretty cool there. In my last video, I covered LG's rollable OLED TV. You can check that out up here or there. There's still no firm release dates, but they're saying it will definitely be out in 2020. Now, I spitballed there that the price would be circa $10,000 to $15,000 US. Yeah, look, there's no official pricing release, but all the articles I could say was that it was in the ballpark of $60,000 US, so I was fairly off the mark there on that one. It's also got a new processor which supposedly upsamples picture and audio, but yeah, a crazy glimpse of the future there with rollable TV technology. Hisense has shown off a 100-inch short throw 4K laser projector TV, and I gotta admit, I actually love the form factor of these things. Now, this is priced at $5,000 US, which is pretty nuts for a Hisense anything really, but it's packed with speakers and Android TV and all the apps you can poke a stick at. Apart from that, Hisense have also showed off what they're known for, which is a plethora of cheaply priced high-spec TVs. Some examples on show were a ULED HDR 10 65-inch TV for $700 US, and even a 75-inch LCD Roku TV for $800 US. I'll chuck a bunch of links for these in the description because there's quite a few to look at. There's too many to list. Hisense isn't the flashiest TV brand, but dollar for dollar, it's hard not to be tempted at the middle to lower end market for a lot of people who just care about basic spec requirements and want that TV in their house. Next up is TCL with their 8K HDR Roku TV. They've pioneered their own version of QLED or Quantum Dot, spouting the regular, our TVs, blackest blacks and whitest whites, etc, etc. They've also mentioned that they've also got 8K AI upscaling, similar to the Samsung, which will help boost 1080 and 4K content. No pricing yet, but they've assured the punters that nothing will be different about their 8K TVs and will remain as affordable as possible. These TVs will be out in US and worldwide this year in 2020. Next up, let's look at some phones. Samsung have shown off their Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Lite and Galaxy S10 Lite. I'll throw up a spec sheet so you can ogle at the sweet stats. Samsung's next flagship phones, which is presumably the Galaxy S11 and Note 11, are just around the corner, so these 10 Lites is kind of like a mix between a mid-cycle cheaper phone, but also they've got some camera upgrades on last year, so it's a bit of a weird mix of old and new. Slightly confusing release from them, but hopefully the spec sheets will show you everything you want to know. TCL have also entered the arena with the announcement of their 3 new phones, the TCL 10 Pro, the 10L and the 10 5G. The 10 Pro will likely cost less than $500 US, have an on-screen fingerprint scanner, 4 rear cameras and a headphone jack. They said the cameras aren't going to smoke the competitors, but they will be in line for the price point. The 10L and 10 5G are lower end phones at a similar price point. Sorry for the vagueness, but nothing's confirmed at the moment on these phones. The fingerprint scanner for these two will be on the back. They'll also have 4 cameras, but I think they're going to be a little bit different to the Pro. The showing here at CES was a bit of a tease. They'll be releasing full details later at the Mobile World Conference in Barcelona in February. TCL have also had a folding phone, but it was just a concept. They said that while they're looking at foldables, they're happy to take things slow. No mention of a release, if ever, for this specific model. Next up, let's take a look at computers on show. First up is the Lenovo Thinkpad X1 Fold. They showed this concept off last year. It's now a fully finished product. It's a full Windows 10 device with some additional software tweaks to handle all of the different possible orientation. You can use half the screen as a keyboard. You can use the keyboard they give you in half the screen or full screen mode. There's also an easel stand they're bringing out as another option. They've really doubled down on their confidence for this hinge and foldable screen. They reckon they've got over 4 years of R&D in the screen and hinge here with LG, who's the manufacturer. Retail cost for this is $2,500 US and should be shipping mid this year. Similarly, Intel also showed off their Foldable Concept. It's a lot larger at 17.3 inches and it looks very, very cool. A little bit better than the Lenovo in my eyes. It's still very much a prototype, but I love seeing this sort of stuff pop up at CES. It really shows some innovation. Samsung have a new Chromebook, which has a 13.3 inch 4K display, but it's also a Chromebook. Who uses Chromebooks? Lenovo and Asus also showed off some Chromebooks. Lenovo showed their Thinkbook Plus, which is a laptop which has an external e-ink display on the outside. So you can fire up a Kindle app and read stuff on there. You can use the pen that it comes with to jot down some notes, and you can do some basic navigating like checking emails, calendars, all that sort of stuff. I think a lot of people will shrug at this kind of design, but sometimes these weird and wonderful things can spark some other kind of use that we didn't really anticipate. Definitely would not be my laptop of choice, but I'm pretty excited to see this sort of wacky stuff coming out at CES. No mention of price, and it should be on sale in a couple of months. Toshiba showed off their new 13-inch Dynabook at $1,600 US. This is a mid-price laptop that would probably be competing with Dell XPS 13. These lappies are reasonably priced, spec'd, and designed. Lightweight laptops, they may not look so flashy, but a realistic solution for a large number of consumers. They're basically the non-Apple fanboys MacBook Air. Specs are not released for this yet, but it will be on sale February for $1,600 US. Asus showed off their ROG Zephyrus, and what the hell is going on with that lid? It's amazing. That stuff can be switched off. You can create some custom designs for it. Overall, it's a pretty beefy machine sporting the latest AMD chips and possible specs all the way up to an RTX 2060 graphics card, all weighing in at roughly 1.6 kilos or 3.6 pounds. Screen-wise, you can get a higher hertz display, or you can get a QHD panel, depending if you're leaning towards gaming or content creation. That's kind of who they're they're touting this machine for. So pricing and release should be about Q1, Q2 of this year. Dell also has this cool Alienware concept UFO to show off. It looks like and functions like a Nintendo Switch. The screen has slidable controllers on either side for gaming, but these can be taken off to use the main unit just as a tablet, while the controllers dock into something that looks like a Switch controller. It's running full Windows, so you can connect a mouse and keyboard. They also mentioned a Dell Hub available where you can attach monitors and other devices. Pricing, specs and release, the date were not launched for this bad boy just yet, and it's still not an official product, but they seemed very, very pleased with the results that they were getting on the floor, so I think they will be bringing it out at some point. So I've got a whole food category here, but it's really just Impossible Meats again. Now, Impossible Meats are a plant-based meat company who took last year's CES by storm, and looking at all the happily eating punters, they've done the same thing this year. They've announced their new Impossible Sausage, which will be available at Burger King breakfast. But the big pig on display was their new Impossible Pork. They had an array of pork-based products on display, but yeah, it's kind of hard to tell anything without taste and smell, so I'll need to research this one firsthand. They've said that demand is higher than they can supply, so they're really hunkering down and trying to get their goods out internationally as soon as possible. Alright, so this next lineup of stuff I couldn't really categorize, so get ready for some weird and wonderful gadgets and product updates. Picnic Pizza Robot is a machine from Seattle startup which does exactly what you'd expect. It's going to robot out some pizzas for the masses. Their vision is having pizza bots at stadiums, events and the like. The idea is that they can load the bot with fresh dough and ingredients, and the robot basically assembles, cooks, slices and serve pizzas to customers. You can order via an app ahead of time and grab it on your way, or you can order at the machine directly. The next thing is the Matrix Juno Rapid Cooler. It's basically a microwave for cold stuff, which they're saying could replace a full wine fridge. It uses a thermoelectric cooling engine to rapidly cool liquids. The demos they were showing off on the floor were chilling a room temperature can to cold in just a minute or two. They even poured hot coffee into a thermos and had that cold in like 2.5 minutes. Retail pricing on this will be $300 and shipping in Q3, but they had some CES specials there for $200 if you pre-ordered then and there. Next up is the Stranger Things Pinball. Now, I'm a pretty big pinball nerd, so this was no surprise to me. Stranger Thing is Stern's latest offering and a great tie-in for the crowd of CES. I could probably do a 10-minute video on this machine, but yeah, I'll just keep it simple. It's a modern Stern machine with all their latest and greatest pinball technology under the hood. Compared to machines of yesteryear, it's got some modern world innovations, but compared to other modern releases, there's kind of no standout features here. I think it'll bring a lot of nostalgia back to the CES fan base, and the theme is definitely a great fit for the floor. And if you're not aware of these machines, the pricing on latest pinball machines is about $7,700 USD for the basic model or the regular version, and $9,200 for the limited edition version. The limited edition version, they only do a certain run of them, like a 1,000 or something. They have different artwork to the regular. There's some extra bells and whistles, toys and that kind of thing. Nothing really game changing, but just a more premium offering from the company. For the streamers out there, Elgato have shown off their new 4K 60S card. It will let you stream 4K 60 FPS HDR content while also having a pass-through for your monitor continue playing. They're gearing up for the next gen of consoles with this one. You can already do this with their PCIe cards, but this is the first time they're offering it in a breakout box. It's going to retail for $400 USD and is available right now, they're saying. PlayStation 5, PS5, how has it taken this long in the video to mention the PlayStation 5? At this year's CES, we got to see the PS5 logo. That's all we got to see. They teased us with the PS5 logo. Sorry guys, that's all I got for you on that one. Next up is Oral-B, toothbrush. Oral-B IO is Oral-B's new flagship toothbrush. We're at the point now where toothbrushes have OLED screens with AI and connected apps. The brush tracks 16 zones in your mouth and has a live update on your phone of your brush coverage. To be fair, it shows you where you need to brush and pushes you to brush for a full 2 minutes, giving you a score at the end of it. This will be available for August 2020 with a rough cost of $200 to $300 depending on the brush package that you get. They're really trying to gamify brushing your teeth. Samsung showed us this GEMS exoskeleton at last year's CES, but we weren't sure what it would ultimately be used for. Well, it's back, and now as an immersive workout experience. The device can ramp up resistance to create immersive workouts. They envision you pairing this with AR glasses and a handset for some crazy interactive experiences. This is actually so weird that I think think it could be cool. It would cost an absolute arm and a leg to own this, but if you've ever used VR, then you would know that even the smallest of physical immersion is kind of the final key of the selling point of VR and AR when you're in those worlds. There's no mention of pricing or availability just yet. They just showed off a bunch of demos using the GEMS kit. Alright, creepy Samsung ball, here's your time to shine, meet Samsung Ballie. They tout this as the final key to your IoT lifestyle, which is Internet of Things. So sure, your IoT devices should know when you walk out the door to turn the lights off, when you walk in to turn the lights off, when your pet's moving they can do something, but they're kind of suggesting that having Ballie, a sort of low-level active droid, is kind of the glue to check up on the status of everything in the real world of your house. So Ballie has Amazon Ring, have a host of new products, I'll chuck them in the links below. LIFX, who are known for making smart bulbs and LED strips, have some new products as well, which I'll chuck below. They've got some smart filament, like old-timey bulbs, which come in 3 different finishes and are only $29 a piece, as well as some smart wall switches you can chuck around the house, so you're not always opening a mobile app to control things. It's a nice physical touch to the connected lights experience. I'll chuck all the links below. This was a monstrous day one of CES, heaps of cool stuff to dive into. I can't wait to see what the rest has in store for us. A bit of a longer video, but that's what happens when these mega events happen once or twice a year. Let me know what interested you the most out of all this swag. I'm keen to hear it. So thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, and we'll catch you on the next one.